Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In dark Epoch, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today we are going to be doing a corpse breakdown. Just a fair warning, this is going to be a long video, so by all means do not feel pressured into watching the whole thing. If you do, then I highly thank you for doing so, but I understand that everybody's time is important, since this has been so highly requested, and I've been meaning to get this out, I wanted to get a little bit more understanding of how everything worked before I really push this to you guys, because again, I want you to have accurate information to build upon, something that is going to be able to kind of push you in the right direction versus leading you astray from the path that you're wanting to be on. Now, here we are. We are actually in Corpse currently, standing next to this fire because it is often cold. But Corpse has an overview. Let's start there. Corpse is designed around bringing in 6 different servers and meshing them into one for a month-long event. Now, these 4 servers and their S ranking and A ranking guilds within them are all going to be auto-sorted into different estates, as you can see here from the screen, broken up into Best in the World, Fantasy Hall, Inexhaustible, New Beginnings, End of Revenge, and though it says My Corpse, this is going to be World Conquest. Okay, so how does all of this fit in with you? And that is the biggest thing that you need to take away from this. Once you dive into the heart of Corpse, it is all going to be based around the guilds that you have within your corpse, as well as the members that are going to be coming along with those guilds. Now, this is going to just be what you need to be focusing on as you are building your corpse, as well as what you are trying to achieve and maintain as you start going into some of the more limited events, such as the Demon Ruler Raid and the Conquest battles, just because there are penalties now um, that have came along with Corpse that can oftentimes be very misleading and very hard to understand. With that, you have your Corpse CP. This is the maximum amount of CP that you can have within your corpse at any given time without starting to tip that scale over into the yellow or the red, as you can see with our corpse members, before you start taking penalties. Now, what are these penalties? So if, for example, if we take a look here, it says, due to the excessive number of corpse members, the base resources acquired through Corpse Conquest battle is reduced by 25%. Now, doesn't sound like a whole lot, just from a personal standpoint, but 25% for your total corpse is quite a bit, and it adds up and it really takes effect when you're trying to stay on top and kind of ride those first 3 rankings of the leaderboard. So how do you manage this? Okay, so if we switch over into the guild members list, we can get an overview of every member or player that is within each of these guilds, as well as what their CP is and their contribution or their income. So income is split up into 2 different categories. You have your personal income and then you have your corpse income. So all of your corpse income is going to be displayed here in today's income, um, and then a total of your personal income will be here on this side as well. Now, how do we convert that over into corpse income? If we flip over here to our guilds list, it is going to take an average of everything that your current members are doing, and then it is going to compile that and use that algorithm to bring up your total corpse income. As you can see, just off of today alone, my guild has brought in 1,246. We've got the Matadors that have brought in 670, Demons bringing in 560, and then it just starts to go on a decreasing scale from there. And off of that, you know, the time that we have now spent in corpse, it all contributes to your total income. But let's say all of these down here that are 6,000, 0, 3,000, they're not contributing near as much. So what can we do to help manage that to be able to kind of push them over the top and potentially help us in the long run? One, first and foremost, reach out to them. We've got a dedicated corpse chat, as you can see here. We'll pop into the world server channel, and then you have a world server that is just for your cross server, for your arenas and such. Then you have your corpse. Everything that happens within your corpse, if you are supporting somebody, or if any of the other guilds within your corpse is speaking, it will show up in this chat so long as they know to post here. And then this section of the quote unquote world chat is all of the corpse estates combined. So if you are looking to start to um, build your corpse, recruit new guilds, or even trying to figure out how people have done, you can use that chat as well. Um, but jumping right back into corpse to talk a little bit more about this is managing your guilds and managing your members. Now, no member of any guild can leave without taking the entire guild with them. However, if you have a guild that has players above level 560 that are not participating or are not as active, you can then go into your guild from your guild menu, um, outside of the corpse, of course, and you can pretty much just get rid of them, because that is the only way that you are going to be, one, able to decrease the numbers that are coming from your guild. As you can see here, I have 18 members of my guild that are in here, which is again taking away from the amount of numbers that I can bring in to be able to fill in some of the spots that, say for instance, if I was to get rid of these three guilds, I would only be freeing up 5 slots, which would only allow me to bring on one member without pushing that corpse member cap over the edge, which would then put us right back into receiving penalties. Um, so it is going to require some guild structure management. I understand that this number here is very low. Yes, this is bugged because there should be at least 100 player cap on here, um, to be able to allow guilds to keep the members, the active members that they currently have, those that are participating, and that are willing to be a part of Corps should have the opportunity. So yes, this number as well as this number here, uh, they are both bugged. They're, all of this has been pushed to the developers. They are looking this over, finding ways that they can kind of implement an update or a patch. Though I do not have any information on the timeline for that as of now, it is in the works, it is coming. So please do not be discouraged that you are going to have to just pretty much demolish your entire guild, everything that you guys have been working up to, um, and have to keep it that way, because these numbers will change. Um, but again, if we are trying to get rid of any player or any guild, um, you're going to have to either kick them out of your current guild, and then when it comes down to getting rid of some of the guilds that may not be participating as much, you will then have to go through this guild list here, and you will have to vote to either ban or banish this guild, or you could leave the guild completely, or leave the corpse completely and take your guild somewhere else. Now, there is some stipulations to leaving or banishing a guild that I think you might want to think about before you jump straight to any kind of conclusions or immediate actions, and that is when we are talking about going through and banishing or leaving a guild. So if when you propose a vote to say let's get rid of the demons, or let's get rid of SDB or the matadors, if we were to go in here and say, you know what, these guys, we can find more people. So we can propose a vote and it will give you a prompt. It says SDB will be banished. Would you like to proceed with this banishment? If successful, the guild will be banished from the corpse and their corpse income will be lost. You do not get to keep that corpse income after they have already been gone. Um, Now, keep in mind, you only get an opportunity to banish 3 times. As you can see, we have gone through and we have um, declared invasions. We've declared to banish guilds. So all of this stuff is on a consensus voting structure. So just because you vote to banish somebody does not mean that it is going to pass through. So you have to have a majority vote in order to pass this to be able to get them out of your corpse. Um, Unless you leave, but the same stipulations apply. If we were to pull our guild out of corpse and go to join another corpse, we are going to be put on a 48-hour, that is from the time that you do this in game until 48 hours, um, that you will not be able to participate in the Demon Ruler raid or the Conquest battle, because it will put you into what they refer to as the Reserve Corps. This is a space for all of those guilds that have not found a home yet, um, or are considering joining another corpse to kind of fill slots there to strengthen your numbers, your CP. This is the route that you would have to go to be able to make some of these changes happen. Um, and then once you decide to leave as a guild, all of your total income will be frozen for the duration of the time that you are out. And then once you start joining into um, another corpse, you will be able to start to slowly trickle that uh, income that you have already accrued over your time in the current corpse that you were just in, back into the new one that you're going to be joining. Um, Now, that pretty much covers getting rid of corpse guilds as well as some of the members. So let's talk about how do we start gaining some of this income? What are some of the benefits that we are going to start receiving, as well as what can we do from a day-to-day standpoint to be able to maximize how much income we can bring in? So we can go through and we can look at our rankings. When you start out, you are going to be trying to achieve these different milestones to give you some bonus rewards, based upon your total contributions to participating in corps. Now, they may be something very sought after, like all of these different cast iron upgrades that you will start to notice that you're going to be receiving, but you'll also notice that you're receiving a good chunk of reputation, as well as the soul of the mythical beast, which we can talk about shortly. But getting and acquiring this income or merit um, is all going to be coming through your events. Now, you have 3 different events, I guess technically 4, that you can participate in, revolve around. revolving around corpse without getting into some of the bigger events such as the Demon Ruler Raid and the Conquest battle. Now, Corpse Quest will be your new guild quest replacement. So you have a choice of either doing your guild quest to gain reputation that way, or you could turn around and do the new corpse quest, which should be done. This should take priority over your guild quest um, to be able to acquire some military merit for yourself. And granted, this is just based off of a B ranking, but you'll also gain your guild reputation as well as your income. So you'll gain personal income and you'll gain corpse income. You can notice that you're only gaining about 10% corpse income for every one of these missions that you complete, and that is just because if they did that, then you would have some astronomical numbers coming in from all of the members that are now contributing to your corpse total and daily income for um, your placement. Now, you can go through and you will start out with a maximum number of 5 of these corpse quests. But instead of spending diamonds to re-roll these, you can now spend your military merit, um, as you can see down here at the bottom, to be able to re-roll to try to find those higher ranking quests, such as A or the S rank, which are going to yield you the most benefits and rewards. Um, so again, highly, highly recommend doing these. Then you've got ruler butlers. So butlers are split up into 2 different categories. You have the traditional ones, which can be found in your everyday corpse. So if we were go to my corpse here in World Conquest, it'll tell me the number that is still alive there, the rewards that I can receive from them. But right here, when the ruler butler is defeated, the user who inflicts the most damage gets the drop privilege. So it is going to function just like an ancient boss or something along those lines. Now, once you go through and start with these, you will only be able to collect uh, 2 of the maximum rewards, but you have the option to purchase another 4 on top of that. Of course, those are going to cost diamonds just like any other daily, and the same goes for your corpse quest. Again, as I mentioned, you only get 5 starting out, and then you have the option to purchase 2 more. But going back here to the rulers butlers, I don't want to get too far off, but you'll notice that during your playthrough or your time during corpse that you have just your regular butlers and you have your high ranking butlers that are going to be found and signified um, by this chest here with a little purple arrow that is coming above a certain corpse estate. This is where you will find the high-ranking butlers, which you will want to prioritize these over every other one. I know it's easy to jump straight in and just go and knock out a couple of weaker butlers just to go ahead and get rid of your dailies. But again, please take the time to go through and kill these high butlers, because on top of everything that you are going to be getting from a normal butler, those are now going to grant you 120% extra military merit, personal income, and corpse income. This is very crucial in your development and your succession of your corpse. Um, Again, I know that everybody has a different feel. They all want to be able to play corpse the way that they individually want to, but again, I highly recommend doing this. Some of the rewards that you'll be picking up out of here are very, very nice. So if you are looking to max out any particular daily, I do believe that this is going to be the one that you're going to want to do. Um, you have access on every kill for the first 2 to 6 that you purchase. To be able to accrue these or acquire these rewards, and that can be broken up into a random chance out of the Ruler's Butler Wanted reward. Legendary Mythical Beast insignias, which are going to be socketed into the new mythical beasts that have came along with Corpse as well, that you can find in the spirituality tab, um, and will offer some amazing benefits as well. Um, but everything that you see here is what you would be able to get. You can also receive a little bit of a double dip, is what I would refer to it as, because not only can you acquire these legendary mythical beast insignia chests through the ruler's chest, but you can also get them as a drop as well on top of that. Same with the unique, and you can also get wing rune shard chests. Now, these are going to function a little bit different than any other rune skill shard that you would find throughout your ancient bosses or your elite monsters. These are going to be more significant in the long run, and they're going to provide more benefits that I think that you're going to want to take advantage of. Um, but again, not only can you get all of that, but you can also get wing materials through here, guys. Now, I have not seen any Flame of Condors drop, but I mean, you do have a opportunity to pick up a Feather of Condor or a Crystal of Chaos and your Awakening Jewels or Jewels of Creation. Again, these are all essential items to your game progression and your overall CP gains. So please make sure that you are doing this. Then, if we were to actually, real quick, there is another part that goes along with this. So just like being able to kill these, you can also support your guild mates or your corpse mates in being able to take these down. These will also give you a certain amount of daily income as well as corpse income on top of some additional military merit to be able to uh, pull you through and push you over the edge. Now, corpse gathering. This is going to function exactly like Chrysos. However, if we were to jump in here, and on the side here, you can notice that there is 4, 11, 15 different blue orbs that are now accessible to whomever is willing to go out and try to find them. Um, these will offer you similar to the same rewards, but you will find that it is more military merit um, and centered around some of these corpse resources rather than just being able to um, give you goblins in or anything like that. We'll go ahead and claim this one so that I can show you firsthand and kind of give you a bit of a feel for what comes out of these. Um, Again, I think that this is a great alternative. So as you can see, we've got an EXP orb, 160 military merit. I want to say that you do get a little bit of uh, corpse income and daily income off of that as well, though I can't verify 100% if that is the case. Um, but we'll go ahead and we'll pick up another one just to go ahead and complete things. As you can see, the experience orbs that are provided through these can be very substantial. Now, this is based off of a level 700 account. So it looks like, well, let's see, roughly about 15 trillion um, experience off of each of these. So we could go ahead and use those, but I think we're going to go ahead and save them because we're just over there, over the limit there. Um, but if we hop back into here, it'll give you a bit of an overview. It says gather sacraments in the corpse estate to get additional military merit. You can acquire these 2 times a day, but you also get the added benefit of being able to get epic mystical beast insignias as well as being able to acquire some of the more elusive legendary ones, which again are very hard to come by outside of some of the major events. Um, Same with the Soul Crow and Booper. Um, Two really, really good mounts that you can pick up, and not to mention all of your Crusade armor fragments as well. Now, I am assuming that all of these rewards outside of what I have spoken on here are still going to be roughly the same of what you would find in Chrysos, but they're going to be a little bit easier to obtain because of the sheer number of them that spawns um, at any given time. So instead of just having 8 that spawn in through Chrysos, you now have the option to fight over 15, but be warned, you are facing off against everyone else in every corpse. Um, Now, before we start jumping into some of the bigger events, let's go through and talk about chasing down some of the other rewards that you are going to start to gain passively through any of your play progressions. So you don't have to focus farm any of these. They will come over time as you continue to play, and most of which are very easy to obtain. So if we start back from the ones that I've already completed, looks like Apprentice Warrior, so hitting that escort ranking, knight ranking, pretty much as you're generally going through the ranking progressions, and completing your dailies, getting your individual income as well as your corpse income up is all going to start contributing to this. Being able to go through and kill your ruler butlers, and it'll keep track of them for you. As you can see just from this panel here, you're getting some high amounts of military merit as well as some cast iron upgrades, some gear upgrades. You've got beast insignias. You have Soul of Mythical Beast to go ahead and start leveling them up. You have sacrament upgrades. Just a little bit of everything to constantly reward you for the little milestones that you're going to be completing through all of this. Um, yes, some of these are going to be much easier with a higher ranking corpse, but you should not let that hold you back from trying your best to complete all of these because, again, these are something that is going to be able to be completed over time, that is not going to require you to put in maximum amounts of effort, but it is going to require you to have to participate. Now, you do have rewards for your overall corpse achievements. So if you obtain a max of 80 rewards for ruler butlers, it will give you a nice little selection chest of your choosing, um, so that you can go ahead and start building out your crusade gear. If you are lucky enough to um, land your damage, or finish off your damage, and the last numbers being 666, not only do you gain 6,660 garnets, but you also gain a new title. No idea what that says, but you get it. And the stats on this are pretty nice. I mean, as far as a free title that anybody has access to, I think that that is very, very cool. Um, Battlefield Reaper, killing an enemy for the first time during Conquest battle. You know, this right here is something that has a bug around it. You're not able to quote unquote get this completed because obviously, you know, we've been here long enough in Corpse now. I've killed many, many people, and I still have not received this achievement. But moving on, you can kind of see all of the different things that you can get, all of the things that you have already gotten to kind of help you keep a better eye on some of this. If you have a guild or a corpse member that is having a hard time finding a certain one, all you have to do is hit one of these buttons beside it. It will then populate that into your corpse chat or your guild chat, to be able to push that out there for them to be able to find easier or to know exactly what the requirements are to achieve that. Now, you also have one for your mythical beasts because again, this came along with Corpse. It has a lot of involvement within the Corpse dailies, as well as some of the limited events. So why not put it in here, offer yourself a little bit more um, support and help to be able to kind of give you some of these extra rewards. Now, currently, equip one Angel Mythical Beast insignia. This is not currently released yet, so again, we will have to wait until that comes out. Then you get support. You know, you're going to spend a lot of time supporting your allies within your corpse, but there is going to be some times to where you are going to have to be stuck scratching your head trying to figure out where do I go to receive corpse buffs? You know, outside of being able to just buff before you go into corpse, that is the only way that I know how to do it so far. I have not seen any kind of, you know, physical buff that I could use to help support my allies. So again, I think this one just needs a little bit of work. Uh, Now, diving straight into the big events. Um, if you won't mind, I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay, so when we were talking about the Demon Ruler raid, there are a lot of mechanics to this. There is a lot of thought process and strategy that has to go into place because this is the first event that you are going to be pitted against every single corpse and all of the guilds and the members that are making up that all of those corps. So when we're looking at this from a statistic standpoint, all the corpse stats, every single corpse has a total of 3 bosses. Now, these bosses are split up between a main boss and then 2 smaller bosses um, that we can go ahead and take a look at. So if we're looking at my corpse, for instance, we have the ruler's mirror image, and which it is looking for the top 2 damage spots. So it'll keep track of it over here on the right side and let you know who is taking control of these. So you see my corpse, you see best in the world. These are the only 2 guilds that are going to have access to this loot pool up here at the top. And you will find that throughout every single one of these individual corpse. These are the only ones that are going to be looking for the top 2 spots. And then if we take a look down here, this is where it is only looking for 1 top damage. So this is why structuring your corpse, being able to bring in guilds that you can communicate with easily, that you know are going to be active and online, um, and that are going to be able to pack some damage along with being able to support if needed. Um, Taking control of as many of these as possible is going to increase the amount and the rarity of the rewards that you receive. Um, with every one that you take, you will be getting corpse income. You will have an opportunity at some wing materials, some crusade armor materials, some general upgrade materials such as your Jewel of Creation and your Jewel of Awakening, as well as your mythical beast insignias, your wing skill shards, and if we are looking at the top prize here, you're going to have access to being able to pick up some of the legendary, which it doesn't display it here, but it is the legendary wing runes, which can only be found through 2 places, either participating in these events and then bidding in the auction afterwards, or you have an opportunity to pick up, I want to say it's 1 or 2, just one out of the military merit shop that can be found from the garnet shop located right next to the diamond shop. Um, Now, as you can see, I have the majority of the stuff here unlocked outside of the Soul of Umus and the Token of the Strongest. So this is a general idea of the prices that you could be looking at. Yes, these are flag awakening stones, but however, they are only for the second, third, and fourth flags, not for your higher tier. So your fifth, sixth, seventh, and above, they are not available for that. Um, but with that being said, we can go ahead and jump right back into talking about these events. So what is the best way to manage this? Why do I need so many uh, guilds and players, and why do I need to strategize for something like this? Is because this is the only time that you've ever had to be in 18 different locations at once. And so you need a strategy, you need a game plan to be able to secure some of these victories. And the way that you are going to be doing that is from utilizing the guilds that are within your corps. If you have sat down and said, hey, look, I have this corpse idea and the strategy put together that I think is going to work. Um, let me let me share this with you. Let me work with you to make sure that this is going to happen. If you do not have a guide, let me know because I have one that you can use. And it works extremely well if you have full cooperation. Um, Ideally, you want to have three groups of your strongest, heaviest damage dealers, and you want to send them out to each one of these higher bosses. You want them to stack up 10 to 20 trillion damage at a certain boss. Then you want them to jump over and you want them to do it to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. All the while that this is taking place, you've got 5 to 6 other groups that are doing the same thing on these individual smaller bosses. Um, because again, our main goal is to take these top damage spots and make sure that we can hold them. So it would be a good idea to have 1 or 2 members, preferably one, that is constantly not participating, and his sole job is to monitor every single one of these by going in, clicking. You can see the real-time data as it's being logged. Um, and being able to guide some of your groups that you're going to be managing to all of these different locations that need more focus or need more attention. If you see somebody that is approaching your 10 trillion mark on your damage, you need to get back over there and step that up or eliminate those players. Now, that I have said eliminate those players, here is a major factor that you have to be aware of, no matter what, is if you are going in to kill one of these bigger bosses and you die, if you get killed by another player, you once you respawn in that boss, you will receive a 10% damage debuff or a 10% damage penalty to all of the damage you are putting towards that boss. And that will remain the entire time that you are at that boss. So if this does happen, move over to another boss. There is no sense in missing out on a lot of damage and trying to stay in one particular boss if you could do more damage at another boss. And then you will repeat this process. And if you make it through all 6 of these bosses and you have died once, jump down to some of the smaller ones. Work your way through. Again, do not hang around and try to win an unwinnable fight or a handicapped fight where everybody else is doing way more damage and you are doing 10% less because you keep dying. Um, So be very mindful of that as you're progressing through this because it is something that is going to affect your overall totals. Um, but after all of that is done, you can go ahead and claim your prizes. That if you want to have a blown up stat, you can go through and look those over. If you want individual stats so that you can go back and reassess who's doing what and what needs to be improved on, you can do that. You can say, man, I can't believe that, you guys came in and y'all did a less than 100 billion damage on these bosses. What were you contributing? Why weren't you participating? And what can we do to help you, push yourself over the top? Because again, that's what it all boils down to is in the end is we are here to support each other, to bring each other along with us for this journey, and we cannot do that unless um, we have support. So everybody needs to be strategizing, number one. Everybody needs to be communicating, number two. And number three, just listen. If you've got a ranking person that is telling you to go and do something, do not feel like you can't listen to them. Obviously, they have a plan and they are trying to guide you to success. So listen to them, let them guide you. Now, when we move over into Conquest Battle, this is a whole nother ball game. This is something that you will have to participate in Demon Ruler Raid to be able to participate in this. And I say that because in order to get into Conquest Battle, you need to acquire a scroll of Conquest. And the only way that you can get this is, you guessed it, through the Demon Ruler raids. Um, you will, if you are one of the top ranking guilds or corps, you will be able to acquire one of these. Then you will be able to go through and say, okay, I want to go and declare an invasion on one of the other corps. Typically, higher levels will single out the lower levels just to kind of gain that advantage. But if you know that you could take out one of the other higher levels, why wouldn't you do that? You're trying to take their resources, so why not try to give yourself a leg up and put the competition a little bit further back? Um, but this requires another strategy in itself, which again, I do have a guide if you want it, so just reach out to me. Um, But going into how this works. So the conquest battles are a capture the or king of the hill type of gameplay. Or for all of you people that like to play Warcraft 3 or Dota, it is about commanding and conquering. So once you get into this gameplay, it is going to be the same layout that you would find in any corpse uh, engagement. So you will have to either spawn in up here at the top if you're defending, and spawn down here if you are attacking. Um, you will notice that right here in the middle is going to be your statue base. As you're going through your dailies and participating, keep an eye out for where some of these bases might be located, because it's going to be crucial and it's going to give you a little bit more guidance if you know where you're going before you step off in here. Um, so main focus, all of your heavy hitters need to be focusing on trying to take or defend your center statue base, because this is going to give you the most resources to contribute to winning this event. Now, you also have crystal bases that are going to be located just inside the attacking point spawn as well as through the defending point spawn. These are going to be crucial because these are going to give you a medium amount of rewards as long as you can maintain control of them. And then our flags are just flip-flopped on opposite sides. Um, Again, one for the attacking side, one for the defending side. When you are starting out one of these events, it will start everything off in the defensive position. Does that mean that everybody on the defending side starts off with more points? Not necessarily, because there is a buffer period to be able to claim those, and once you claim them, that's when your resource regeneration begins. Um, so you want to make sure that your highest are focusing on the statues. Once you occupy this area and you have gained control, you will get 55 seconds of invincibility. In this time, no damage can be done and no one can attack your base. So that would be a good opportunity to split up to either go to the crystal base or the flag base to be able to try and take control of those as well, which, as you can see here, if you occupy it, 30 seconds of invincibility, and if you get the crystal base, 40 seconds of invincibility. So during this time, there is no possibility for you to lose that as long as you have that protection. Then, once your invincibility depletes, you will then start the whole process all over again. But throughout all of your journey, running around from base to base, trying to occupy and claim and conquer, um, you will be seeing all of these different runes that will be spawning all over the place. As you start picking these up, it will give you personal contribution, it'll give you corpse contribution, it will give you an increase to your efficiency rating of how much your resource generation is going to be. So if I was to run in and I was to pick up 5 of these um, resource runes for the bases that I have under control, it would increase that uh, resource generation increase by above 10 to 12%. And any player can pick these up. So please prioritize picking these up because you never know how impactful these things are going to be until you are neck and neck in a competition of who has the most resources. And these runes are what's going to kind of bring you over the top, especially with a lot of these more evenly matched corpse estates. So you've got to be very mindful of it and going into it and understand what it's going to do to your overall outcome. Now, again, this will be a battle of resources. So what this means is whoever reaches 18,000 points. Let me see if I can bring up some battlefield stats. Here we go. Um, so it's whoever reaches 18,000 points first wins. Um, Again, you have attackers, you have defenders. Defenders are those that did not get a scroll of conquest to be able to choose to invade someone. Only the attackers can invade someone else. Uh, but it'll also give you a full breakdown of everything that you've done while you're here. So it'll tell you Delusions has gained 10 runes. He defeated 52 players. Um, he took 1 flag base, no crystal bases, and no main bases. But as you can see, you can go through and view this for your own, but you can also go through and view this for the opponents as well to see exactly what all they were able to do. As you can see, um, they were able to take control of all of these, but they were not able to hold on to them long enough to be able to really profit from what all it brought with it. So we were able to take those bases back a lot quicker as soon as the cooldown on the invincibility was up, and then we were able to proceed forward. But I hope that this was a general idea of or understanding of how all of this focuses. I'm going to do my best to get some more gameplay out so that you guys can see what it's like firsthand. Again, it makes it really hard for me to do that sometimes just because there is a lot of communication going back and forth, and I really don't want you guys to have to sit through 15 minutes of silence. So I will find a way to be able to make these things work a little bit easier, or I'll handle all of my communication through um, our chats down here at the bottom. But with that, I want to thank you all for those that have stuck with me this far throughout the video, um, and all of those that are supporting the channel. I really can't thank you enough. You guys have given me so much encouragement to keep pushing these along, and I really hope that this is something that we can continue to build on. If you have new information, please send it to me. if you want me to touch on something a little bit more in depth, let me know. You know, I can do a single segment video to kind of explain things in a more less bulky way. Um, but yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, I'm Delusions, and I'm out. Take care, guys.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen, we'll carve our name.